Thank you. For those who are new, my name is Mwaka Lutukumoy. African names have got meanings. Lutukumoy means the most successful warrior. I'm from Uganda. I'm based here in New York, Buffalo. From the onset, I said I'll talk about African culture, more on my story and how we can make Africa better. It's bad, good, good, better, and better, best through my story, because I believe every story needs a listener. When listened to, life can change. But before I go far, I must tell the audience who have not heard from me, why am I in the US? I'm in pain. My story is of grace, from grace to grace, from grace to pain and laughter. Because soon I'll testify how strong and better, and definitely I'll get a long-lasting healing. What happened in 2011? I was national spokesman of opposition party called Democratic Party in Uganda. Unfortunately, we organized a demonstration against government called Walk to Work. If you Google, you find out about Walk to Work protests in Uganda. Friends, I was targeted being the national spokesman and a mobilizer of many dissents. Now, when I reached town, the military caught me, bungled me like a chicken thief, beat me properly. I was beaten to near death. By the way, if you Google, more than 8 people were killed that day and thousands injured. I was part of those injured. Later did they know my spinal cord was affected. I broke my hand, the left hand. I broke my back, but it damaged both the disc and the spinal cord. When I came to the US, they diagnosed me with a neurological disease that affects my speech and movement. It gives me headache daily, head turn, and I'm struggling to speak, but I have a speech therapist helping me. Friends, I must say, I went through a lot of pain, but nevertheless, it's important for you to know why this video. This video is to give you my story from the onset. I've already talked about my birth. You'll Google and find out more. If you search for the articles on my birth. Now, tomorrow I'll talk about my growth. My growth has been the war in northern Uganda. I lived under shots and fire. I told you the games we used to play, hide and seek, Many other games, la balle attack, or jumping around on squares, we go to la balle attack, and others. But the most popular game was hide to seek. We were enjoying our youth and childhood. Not until when the guns made it short, the emergence or the coming in of President Museveni. And then so war and so on. But life was so interesting. I was about 4 or 5. We used not to put on clothes. We used to move without clothing. They didn't care much about children of 5 for having no clothes because it was expensive. So mostly mature children used to get properly dressed up. I remember when I was growing up, my first photo was taken by people, I think from Europe, white people, or the US, I don't know. They came to my village in Agwe. That was in the early 80s. They came, we were playing, running around, and they called us. We went, and they said they want to take your pictures. And they took a lot of pictures when we were nude or naked. Very interesting. My first photo, I don't know where it is in the world. Maybe one day I'll get it in one of the libraries across the world. But nevertheless, it was such an interesting period. We had freedom, we had peace, we had every good things. But soon, I'll now tell you more about my childhood growth. Initially, we talked about my birth. I was born on Christmas Day when everybody was happy. Unfortunately, without a father at a mother's home, and I lived in fear and worries because a child born without father would go through hell. That's a story for another day. But soon I'll tell you my life story, how I grew up. The war in northern Uganda. You know, Con 2012 made so over 100,000 likes. Who is Con? Was Con in 2012? No. It's only then that American government decided to focus on Con in northern Uganda. So my story will let you know who Con was and how people suffered. I was a victim. I saw it all. It started when I was there. I know the cause, the causes, the cause, everything on the war. So it's important to relate my story to the war, to relate my story to governance, to relate my story to freedom of Africa. Because it's that time we come up with a solution to make Africa better. It's no longer a problem of France, colonialism, of slavery, etc. No, we are talking France. But some of us here, millions of Africans are out because of fear of going home, because of corruption. many inhuman activities, injustices. So to me, I think my story will correlate well and bring forth how we can make Africa and Uganda better. Thank you. God bless.